Hello, my friends. Amberlynn uploaded her weigh-in for the week, and it is titled, "There is something I have to tell you." And given this face, I'm guessing it's something very insightful. So let's find out. If you'd like to like and subscribe, that would literally be hectic. I'm not gonna lie.
Hello, welcome to another weekly weigh-in. So let's get into the 5 questions. What kind of coping skills are you using during times where you want to overeat? So there's a few that I use, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't.
Yeah, because you're doing it on your own. It's the way she's approaching this, or everything basically, is like, imagine you join a swim competition and you line up and everybody gets in the same position and they're all like ready to dive in for the race or whatever, and you you step on the side and you just stand there, and somebody goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And you're like, "I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. I've done this a lot of times." And they're like, "Well, have you ever like won a race?" "No, but I know what I'm doing." "Okay, well, why aren't you getting in the position, like the ready position?" It doesn't work for me. I don't like it that way. So I'm just going to do it my way. I know how to do it. It's fine. And then they'd be like, "Where's your coach?" "I don't need a coach. I know what I'm doing. I've done this so many times." And then, of course, with Amber, the race would start. Everybody would dive, but she would just belly flop right into it. And that's basically what she's doing, right? She's going in uncoached, without any help, and just going by what she thinks she knows. But that's not going to do her any good in the long run. That's the thing with narcissists, man. You cannot convince her that she doesn't know everything. She is right about everything, period. Point blank, period.
It's all about practice. So sometimes I set an alarm.
It's all about practice. This person, amberlynn Reed, just said it's all about practice. Okay. If you practice something over and over and over again, but you're doing it wrong, then you're never going to actually accomplish anything because you've not practiced the correct way. To use that swim analogy, if I go to swim practice and I just belly flop every time I jump in the pool, every time over and over and over again, I'm never going to win a swim meet. I'm never going to learn the proper way to compete in a swim competition. And so practicing didn't mean jack squat. So if she uses her own methods as practice over and over again, it's not going to do her any good.
So sometimes I set an alarm for about 10 minutes and I kind of just like sit with the feeling, and sometimes it passes. I journal about how I'm feeling to figure out like, why do I want to overeat? Because usually there's like an underlining reason. It's not just like, oh, I love to eat. For me, there's definitely something underlining. And sometimes
Did she just say underlining twice? And I know we all mispronounce words every once in a while or use the wrong word or whatever, but she does it so much, it's just baffling.
sometimes journaling about that distracts me, and it helps me be like, wow, I actually don't think I need food. I distract myself with things that make me happy, like my fur babies. I watch something on YouTube. I watch a TV show. I do my Legos, things like that. Sometimes I will literally remove myself from wherever I'm at. I also do this when I get extremely anxious, and sometimes that also helps then too. So for an example, say I'm just sitting in my living room and all of a sudden I just have this overwhelming urge to order DoorDash. Sometimes I'll literally just like stand up and remove myself. I'll like go in the kitchen, clean a couple dishes, or I'll just be like, "Hey Twinkie, do you want to go outside?"
So 2 problems with this. A, she is relying basically completely on her own willpower and her own self-control, of which we know, and she should know by now, she has none, 0. And then B, there's no way that this is a long-term solution. You are not going to be able to talk yourself out of or journal through or pull yourself out of every situation every time. That's not a long-term solution. She needs somebody to help her long-term.
Or I'll go into my room. Like I'll literally just remove myself. These things are definitely easier said than done. You just have to be kind to yourself and patient. And it's like that muscle. The more you do it, the better you get at it. Why do you watch healthy?
I like that she says that muscle, like it's just one specific muscle that you use and it gets better. And honestly, as little as she's ever used any of her muscles, that may be what she thinks, is that there's just one. Why do you watch healthy eating content? Why do you watch eating content, period? That's a stupid thing to do when you're 500 plus pounds.
Eating content. So it's not something that I like search out, but if it pops up and I happen to see it and I don't skip through it, it's usually because it's motivating me to be healthier. Like I love a good meal idea. I need inspiration in that area. Does Mama Lynn?
No. In the video where she talked about her watching eating content, She basically said, I try not to watch it, but if I do, I make sure it's healthy.
I try not to watch any eating content, and if I do, I make sure they're eating something healthy.
Well, how do you accidentally watch eating content? You know, like you either watch it or you don't. And she's basically trying to make it sound like she's watching like cooking shows for meal ideas and stuff, but come on. So no, I don't buy it for a second. I think she watches eating content all the time. I think she gets off on it, and I think that's why she enjoys watching herself eat.
Does Mama Lynn ever discourage you from making bad food choices? No, because I think she also understands. She does some.
Yeah, she understands. She understands that if she tells you no, or tries to get you to eat less, there will be hell to pay. Oh my God, Mama Lynn doesn't want to deal with the wrath of an Amberlynn Reed who has just been told, no, you can't have your yum-yums. You do not get in between Amberlynn and her yum-yums.
Sometimes try to encourage me to like cook more instead of ordering takeout as much. Why didn't you know you had hyperthyroidism in the past? So usually your
Hold on, did she say hyper?
Why didn't you know you had hyperthyroidism?
She said hyperthyroidism. Oh, no, I feel real stupid for saying it last time. Why didn't you know you had hypothyroidism?
So usually your doctor decides what labs they want done based on the things that you guys talk about. That appointment was very hyper-focused on weight loss because I was talking to him about Zepbound, and I was telling him about how difficult it was for me to lose weight. Like he knows about my lipedema, my lymphedema, my menopause, hysterectomy, et cetera, et cetera. He knows about all that, but he was like, when's the last time you've had your thyroid checked? And I was like, when I was 15, because that is the last time. And when I had it checked when I was 15, like it was fine. And he was like, oh, we should probably check that. So that's the only reason why we checked it. And turns out, yep, hypothyroidism.
So oddly enough, I was thinking about doing another video where we just sort of check in on the Amberlynn Reed subreddit. I happened to be on there today, kind of just seeing what's new. And I happened to see a handful of compilations of Amberlynn saying that she actually has had her thyroid checked. She, according to her, has had her thyroid checked every year, basically, for the last 10 years.
So they're gonna be able to look at my liver, my gallbladder. They're gonna be able to check for diabetes if I have a thyroid problem. And when I had it checked when I was 15, like it was fine. And he was like, oh, we should probably check that. So that's the only reason why we checked it. And turns out, yep, hypothyroidism. Many people might be like, is it your thyroid? No, I've gotten that checked. All my tests came back normal. No thyroid issue. After the test came back, my thyroid's perfect. This is just all of the information about my blood. I did a fasting test, and no, I do not have diabetes. And no, nothing is wrong with my thyroid. Nothing is wrong in any of those senses. So, yes, I've gotten my thyroid checked more times than I can count. And it's always normal. There are so many other reasons why it's hard for people to lose weight. And it's like some people have thyroid problems. Thankfully, I don't.
But the bottom line is, I just don't think she has hypothyroidism. I don't think she has it. I think she found out what it is and decided, now I can just eat whatever I want because I can just tell everybody that I have the leading cause of weight gain. Hell yeah. So Duper's Delight is generally a subconscious thing that somebody does. They don't realize they're doing it, but when they're telling a lie, they have a little smirk because in their mind, they're getting away with something. And Amberlynn is really bad about it. She can't help herself. And this is a great example when she's telling this story about why they checked her thyroid, which is maybe one of the most provable lies that's ever been told by Amberlynn Reed. And every once in a while, if you watch a lot of reactors or if you watch reaction channels in general, you might start thinking, man, these guys are just nitpicking everything she says. They're looking for lies, right? They assume everything's a lie. Even I think that sometimes. Like, am I like looking for a lie? Am I trying to make everything a lie? But then something like this happens, and it reminds me that she is just a pathological liar. She lies so much that it is far more likely that she's lying than not. Basically, anytime she says anything.
Why do you look at yourself when you're eating on camera? So I think it's just a natural habit that us YouTubers have. I don't like watching myself eat. It's nothing weird like that. It's kind of just like, where should our eyes go?
Hang on. All right, I have delved into the depths of hell just to show you this one clip. And by that, I mean I watched far more eating content than I ever thought I would, just to kind of get an idea of what other YouTubers that are eating on camera are doing with their eyes. And I'm not going to show you all those clips, but suffice to say, This is just an example, and the rest are doing basically the same thing. And I'm sorry, but just look at what she does here. I turned it way down so you can't hear the fucking noise that she makes, but just look at her eyes. All right, now look. She's not looking at herself in the viewfinder. She's looking at the camera. She's looking at you, at me. She's not devouring this crab leg. She's devouring my soul. And when Amber takes a bite, it's not like her eyes are like trying to figure out where to go, or she's kind of glancing at the viewfinder. She is eye-fucking herself. She is enjoying what she is seeing. She just has that look of somebody that's like, oh, you know? And I love that she says, it's just something that us YouTubers do, you know, me and all my peers. I'm just like all the other YouTubers. We just don't know where to put our eyes whenever we take a bite. That's just a common thing that all of us YouTubers have to deal with. Girl, I don't think there's a single YouTuber that would want to be lumped in with you in any scenario, especially not the way you eat on camera.
So let's talk about the goals that I had last week. It was to keep a food journal and to take my medication. And I did both of those things. I noticed that keeping...
Wow, that's so exciting. She's so proud of herself for doing some of the simplest things on earth.
In a food journal, I do eat a little bit more than like my body feels, because I'm telling you at night, I'm like, oh my God, why am I so hungry? Blah, blah, blah. I was able to look at my journal and be like, well, you kind of ate a decent amount. So why are you hungry, Amberlynn?
I like how she said you ate a decent amount. I'd love to know. I'd love to know what a decent amount is.
But if it wasn't for me having the journal, I wouldn't have had that answer. In my brain, I would have been like, maybe I didn't eat much today. Let's have something else. So it was nice to have that awareness throughout the week. And
that's not going to matter. She still is convincing herself or pretending that being actually hungry is the problem. That's not the problem. She eats for other reasons. So if she looks at her food journal and goes, oh, I shouldn't be hungry right now, that doesn't matter. If she wants yum yums, she's going to get yum yums. And if the food journal is going to stop that at all, which I don't think it will, but if it does, it's only going to do it once or twice. After that, she will find an excuse to eat because it's not about hunger. Also, what the hell is she wearing? This is the worst yet, I think, with the just clashing patterns. I think she is really trying to just look as weird as possible. I don't know that I've ever seen anything this weird on a human being without being like, I don't know, in a circus or something, you know, like intentionally weird. This kind of takes the cake for worst fashion ever.
And then taking my meds on time and when I'm supposed to, it's been really easy because I got a pill organizer. So my goals for this week is one.
She bought a thing, so it helps, you guys. She is awestruck by some of the most mundane and simple things on earth. You guys would not believe how I keep my pills organized. A pill organizer. Can you believe it? There's a thing that you put. You wouldn't understand. It's amazing.
Keep up with the medicine, and two, start using my Owala water bottle. So I finally drank the rest of my actual like plastic water bottles that you buy at the store, and I bought a reusable water bottle that I can use. And so I've been drinking 2 water bottles a day, sometimes 3, but usually 2. And that's about 30.
Yeah. Okay. When she sometimes 3, like, no, watch this face.
And so I've been drinking 2 water bottles a day, sometimes 3.
Okay.
But usually 2. And that's about 30 ounces of water. But my Owala is 40 ounces. So my goal is literally just to drink 1 of those a day and then eventually move on to 2. Now I'm going to talk about how my week.
Whoa, yeah. Yeah, she'll definitely do that.
And also I'm going to get this water thing. Oh no, help me drink more water. It's cute. I don't know. Still drink on my water bottle every single day. So I've been aiming to drink more water because I noticed that like when I drink more water, I lose more weight. And my goal is 64 ounces a day, but it's hard for me to keep track of that unless like I have something that's literally 64 ounces. So I got this off of Amazon and it keeps my water at the temperature that I put it in here. So my goal is to drink 1 of these every single day. And for the most part, I do decently, I guess you could say. So I'm gonna drink out of my coldest water bottle. No, not sponsored. Now I'm going to talk about how my week went. So some days were better than others because the beginning of this week, I was having a lot of mental health. I have been having a lot of mental health days that have been really low. And I have been like catching myself not really caring about the food that I'm putting in my mouth. Yes, I am trying harder. Yes, I'm also adding health.
trying harder doesn't mean jack shit. You can't try hard your way out of 500 pounds. But we know she's not actually trying anything.
Yes, I am trying harder. Yes, I'm also adding healthier foods to my diet, but there are some days where I definitely emotionally ate. So if I am being quite frank with you guys, I'm noticing that I'm not being as transparent or as vulnerable or as open as I would like to be in my weigh-in videos or my what I ate today videos. There are things that I want to say, there are things that I want to talk about, but I'm not. I have the biggest wall up, like literally, it is made of the toughest brick you've ever been able.
There are a lot of words to describe amberlynn, and transparent is not one of them at all. Even when she's being like vulnerable, more often than not, she's lying. She's trying to sympathy bait. So even when she's telling you all the sad tales and all the terrible things she's feeling and thinking, it's just bullshit. So even when she's being transparent, it is the opposite. It is opaque. That's the opposite of transparent, by the way.
Able to like get your hands on. It is made of metal. It is 1,000,000 feet high and 1,000,000 feet wide. Like,
I wonder how hard it is to reach over that wall to hit her significant other, or to throw a Mountain Dew Code Red can. Allegedly.
You can't get past it. And I genuinely think it's because of all the backlash that I receive. My issues with my weight,
yeah, it's our fault. You know, it's your fault. How dare you? You know, make it hard for somebody like her to be transparent. How dare you? Because she really wants to be vulnerable, you guys. So just let her. Let her come out here and tell you whatever she wants, even if it's complete and utter horseshit. You guys.
struggles with food, my issues with my mental health, and my struggles with how that reflects in my food, whether it be due to trauma or just issues that I have in general. It is not perceived in the way that it should be. People are too harsh, too mean, too cruel, and it's pushing me away without a doubt. So
you guys are not going to get the truth, and it's because of the haters. So how do you like them apples? You can blame it on the haters. It's their fault that I'm not going to be honest with you. Every once in a while, we will say that like the Am Babies or the Dents or the Beezers all seem like a cult, you know? And this is why. This is a tried and true cult tactic, making everybody else the enemies, you know? All the others are the enemies. They don't understand you. They don't understand me. We're in this together. You're not going to get good things from me, and it's their fault. So you should hate the haters. I mean, yeah, it's a cult thing.
I am thinking about stopping the weigh-in videos, and I'm thinking about stopping the what I ate today videos. It's something that I truly have to think about.
No, she's not going to do them because she doesn't get very many views. If you'll look at her views, she gets far less in her weigh-in and what I ate today videos than anything else. And it could be some of the backlash. You know, she probably gets tired of being told that she's an idiot and that she's wrong. And the funny thing is, if she actually listened to some of the backlash, some of the criticism, she might actually see some results. But she would never take advice from somebody she doesn't, well, anybody, honestly. She'll never take advice from anybody because she knows everything.
It's something that I truly have to think about and decide, because I need to protect the little bit of sanity that I do have. I'm just not met with kindness in an area of my life that is not impacting anyone besides myself. I can't imagine ever being mean to someone or cruel to someone or saying harsh things to someone that is just simply struggling and documenting that online.
You sure about that?
Like, it's just a really weird coincidence to me that like when I take weeks off, and I've done it a few times recently, let's hope that doesn't happen anytime soon, but it's just really weird to me that when I take weeks off, all of a sudden Zachary Michael is going through mental health problems and he can't post and he doesn't know what to post and he doesn't feel motivated. Oh, but the minute amberlynn reed posts, there's his reaction. The narco-lurk had a heart attack. Have some sympathy. Sorry, I'm trying to find my sympathy bone. My sympathy. I'm sorry. I don't care. Beck is one of the biggest manipulators I have ever in my life known.
She's an abusive partner. She's a liar. It is amazing that she still, after all this time, has not figured out that once you put it on the internet, it is fair game, whether you like it or not. nobody has to be nice to you. And if you constantly get overwhelmingly negative responses, then maybe you should kind of internalize that and think, why am I getting all this negativity? That's one of the traits of a lol cow, is that they have no self-awareness at all.
Regardless, let's get into the actual weigh-in. So last week I was 516.0 and this week I'm 513.8, so I'm down 2.2 pounds. I'm not mad about it because I did have a little bit of a fluctuation last week. This might be a fluctuation this week. Who knows? Anyways, I'm gonna go. Hope that you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.
Got her. So anytime she starts a series or a schedule or whatever, it is immediately on borrowed time. It is never gonna last very long. In fact, I am amazed that this has lasted as long as it has. This is what, episode 10? So that's 10 weeks of a schedule. That's pretty long for Amber. So all of these series are bound to disappear at some point. And I figured the weigh-ins would be the first to go. What I ate today, I don't know. Those are pretty easy for her to film. So I don't know why she would discontinue that, because she gets to eat on camera. But as always, she's got to play the victim. She doesn't like the backlash. And when that's the case, you have a few options. You can ignore it because it's the internet and realize people are going to say whatever they want to say. Of course, we know she's not capable of ignoring hate. You can think to yourself, I am constantly getting negative feedback. I wonder why that is. And you can kind of be introspective about it and realize maybe you're the problem, which she's not capable of doing either. Or you can do this and be a big baby about it and blame everything on it and play the victim and then quit everything because you don't want to do it anyway. And the haters are a great excuse. So yeah, you know, that's exactly what I would expect her to do, because Amber never changes. In 12 years on the internet, 13 years on the internet, she has never changed. And it's clear that no matter what happens, no matter how old she gets, no matter how many tries and fails she has at weight loss, no matter how many exes come out and talk about how terrible she was as a partner, Amber will never change. So anyway, I appreciate you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Take care.